Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Football Sunday edition of Two Guys and a Mic. I'm one of your hosts, Ron Pierce, known as RP.
And I'm your other host, Big Sean. How's everybody doing this evening?
Hopefully, everybody's doing as good as I'm doing, as good as you might be doing, because guess what?
We are
I don't know if
4-1.
y'all see me. I don't know if you see the setup. I don't know if y'all see the setup, but man, let me tell you, it's been a long freaking time coming. Like again, I'm not gonna sit here and act like the Browns are the best team I've ever seen play football. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys, oh, we're playoff bound, we're Super Bowl bound. When I was younger, if I was 11, oh, that's on the power. We going to Super Bowl.
Right, exactly. But we
But
know better now.
we know better. We've seen better. We've seen teams a little bit better than this team, not even play this well for the Browns and be 4-1 as when we were kids, right? So, but I'm in a good spot. Sean is, of course, generally more pessimistic than me. That's what Sean. I wish I could tell you guys I'm shocked, but I'm not.
Look, I'm happy. I just have a few concerns that
I know.
we'll discuss.
I know. Sean always brings me down to earth. I always try to be the gay guy, and Sean's like, yeah, man, but you heard that they picked up the towel boy from Cincinnati, right? That's all.
Hey, let's go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So, for me, this past week when we did the midweek show, I'll go back and I'll turn my notes over and I'll tell you some of the things that I was concerned with pre-game, just to update everyone. Of course, the Browns' run game versus the Colts' run defense. They have the best run defense in the league. We have the best run offense in the league. So I was concerned about how, or at least wanting to see how we were going to play against their offensive line, or vice versa, how their line was going to play against us. And any new wrinkles, anything that we could bring up, et cetera, et cetera. Also, what we might be able to do if they could stop our run. And not to say if they could stop our run, like our run is so great they can't stop it, but just, if they slow the run down, what do we do? Like, how do we manage from that point? Like, what do we do next? So I was wondering how the pass game was going to play. What would Baker do? What would OBJ do? What would Jarvis do? Et cetera, et cetera. What would be the makeup to even slow down that pass rush from Stefanski, and then the Rivers and Baker, kind of show, if you want to call it a showdown. Because neither one of these guys are playing like super great or superb, if you want to say that.
Right, and then plus Rivers is 185 years old right now.
Well, he's 167 years old, and he's
way past his prime.
Yeah, so there was that, and then also with that, they have a really good offensive line. They haven't had to deal with anybody like this guy. So my other part was to see how Myles Garrett will play in this game. So those were my concerns going in, looking back at my notes on Wednesday. And I think I said the score would be, let me get it correct. I said 28-24 is what I said the score would be.
Okay.
So that's what I knew they were going to score, and I picked the Browns to win, by the way, just so we're all the way clear. What were your pregame stuff? Your pregame concerns on Wednesday going into today?
Pretty much the same as yours. The one difference is that I wanted to see if we could still capitalize off turnovers, because I knew Rivers, he usually is going to give you a couple during the game, and we've been capitalizing on turnovers all season. So I wanted to see if we could do that once again. And then, like you had stated earlier, same thing as far as our run offense against their run defense. Indianapolis has the number one overall defense, period. They're number one against the pass and the run. So I wanted to see how we would fare against that. And, if they did shut down our run, can we make the necessary adjustments? So that's the kind of things that I was, just kind of looking into before the game this afternoon. So you can go ahead and start it off. So, and also let's go ahead and just give them the final score. The Browns did win 32-23 against the Indianapolis Colts, which improves our record to 4-1 and drops the Indianapolis Colts to a 3-2 record. And go ahead and give me, not give me, but give our audience here your impressions on the game.
First of all, thank you for handing me the baton, sir. I appreciate that. I was kind of hoping to lead in. I never know from week to week how we're going to do the show. Sometimes it's a field thing. Sometimes it's necessary for me to kind of take over. Sometimes it's necessary for you because I feel like sometimes you might have a better perspective. So sometimes I need to hear what you're going to say to make sure that I'm in the same spot. Like we bounce off each other so well. That's kind of how it goes. But just bringing some perspective to the situation, the Cleveland Browns are 4-1, and I couldn't care less that people want to say, who cares who they play, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear it. The Cleveland Browns are 4-1.
Right, you beat who's on your schedule. Period.
And you have to do that. Like, the Steelers are 4-1 too. Guess what? They really haven't played anybody. Who cares? They're 4-1, like they should be.
Actually, they're 4-0.
That's right. I forgot they didn't play that one.
Right.
So, yeah, you're right. So they're undefeated as they should be because they beat whoever showed up.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't be angry at them being 4-0 against teams they should have beat. Same thing with us. We beat teams because if we lost to those teams, everybody would give us grief.
Exactly.
But for the first time since 1994, I was 20 years old in 1994. I am now 46. However, I may look like I'm 67, but I am only 46. And in 1994, Michael Jordan was playing for the Birmingham Barons in minor league baseball when the Browns last were 4-1.
That's crazy.
Eric Metcalf was still on the Browns. My favorite Brown of all time.
Bill Belichick was our coach.
And Bill Belichick was the damn coach. The last time we, the Cleveland Browns, were 4-1. So we are in a kind of a rarefied era. That's why I think I'm feeling a little more nostalgic in terms of where we are. So I'm going to get into the game, but I had to put that out there because I don't want people to misunderstand where my fervor is. I'm like up here right now. I'm still rooted in reality. I don't think by any stretch of the imagination we're getting ready to just win the Super Bowl or win the AFC. However, I am happy. So in this game, again, one of the things I wanted to pay attention to was the quarterback play, not just from Baker but also from Old Man Rivers. I wanted to see what Old Man Rivers still had in the tank. But the one thing I knew about Old Man Rivers, you just pointed out a little bit ago, I knew that too. This dude is a turnover factory, and he's definitely a fourth quarter turnover factory. So I knew that if the game was close and we were able to get any pressure or make anything a little bit out of sorts for him, that the turnover potential would have been there. I'll be honest with you.
Got pressure on him today.
Yeah, we got a lot of pressure on him today. I don't think he's seen any pressure this year. Not like that. So he, of course, turned the ball over. Only thing, when I said quarterback versus quarterback, Baker turned the ball over twice. That last interception he threw, there was nobody in the goddamn vicinity, bro. And that's a problem for me because, to me, it was a third down. Throw the shit away, take the loss, take the intentional grounding, if that's what's going to end up being called, because you punting anyway. But don't throw it
Right.
in the middle of the field where no receiver is at. And I don't want to
Right.
come down on Baker, because Baker's been playing pretty good, but he had 2 interceptions today. And we did also win. So I don't want to like sound like a Debbie Downer or somebody who just doesn't get it, or everything I say is just going to end up being some foul stuff. But that was an issue for me. I know
Right.
I'm just talking about the game, but we'll get deeper into my real feelings about that as I go to my negatives. The defensive line looked good. Our defensive line. Olivier Vernon was active. I know we've spoken about that too. But
Yeah, that's
Olivier
really
looked
more.
good
This is
today.
the most active he's been since he's been here.
Well, I tell you what,
Um,
last week he did have, I looked it up. He had 7 hurries last week.
or
Now,
did
I
he?
don't know how they record hurries,
Yeah, because I really didn't see it. I did
but
see
they
him get
said
in
he
a
had
couple of
7
times.
hurries last week. So I was like, wow, okay. So it made me pay more attention today to what he was doing. And he played really good. He played really good today. I don't even listen. Myles Garrett is freaking incredible, bro. Myles Garrett is freaking incredible.
Yeah, now he's starting to do what I've been asking for. He's starting to be that disruptive
I
force
just think he's
where he's
warm.
just wreaking
I think he's
havoc in
just
the
warming
back
up,
end.
bro. I think
Yeah,
he's just warming up.
yeah, because too, we got to realize too, there was no preseason, probably like a half-ass training camp, basically. So these guys are still getting in football shape. So you got
Yeah.
to take that into account. But now, man, his motor is going 100 miles an hour.
I mean, this dude is
He's wreaking havoc.
incredible, man. I'm seeing why the work uh with what's Bruce with Bruce Smith.
Bruce Smith, yeah,
I'm seeing it starting to pan out right now. Like I'm starting to see him turn corners real low, keep his
right.
balance, and then still being able to affect the play, even though he's getting pushed away. The
And getting triple
quarterbacks are like
teamed.
freaking out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they don't like not being able to see this guy coming. I'm seeing that happen. Like this dude is what you've been asking from week 1. I think we're starting to see that he's starting to affect the game that
Yeah.
way. So
Causing chaos.
yeah, he's causing a lot of. I saw a lot of 2 and 3 bumps on him. I saw a lot of double team. Then he come out of a double team, and then somebody else bumps him, like the running back or or the tight end. Like he was getting bump, 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 bump. He was getting triple and quadruple team. So when you're that active, you can't tell me that he's not that good, because nobody pays that kind of attention to you when you're not that good.
Right. And now if Vernon and Sheldon Richardson and those guys continue to play the way that they're playing, now you can't pay as much attention to
Right,
Miles because you got to worry about the
right,
other guys too.
correct. He's making
And
the
then that
game
call. Right.
easier for the rest of the cats. So that's a plus for the defensive line. The linebackers actually played pretty okay today. I'm actually liking this dude, Jacob Phillips.
Yeah,
Number
he's trying to show a little something now.
He's a rookie. He's a rookie, so he's still raw. He's still got to figure some things out. But he's affecting the game. I've seen him affect the game in the last 2 out of the last 3 weeks. So I'm gonna give him some props and say that the guys he's really playing well
Yeah.
enough for me to give him more credit today.
Right. Also,
Because
BJ
it's like week after week
is
after week.
showing up.
Yeah, it's like week after week you show up. I gotta say something about how you play. It was really good to see Higgins on the field today. He made a couple of plays. I was wondering where he was. I was wondering what was happening. So it
I
was good to
wonder if what did Higgins do to fall out of favor
see. I
with
don't know.
coaches, man? It like
I
that he
don't know.
seems like
I don't know.
a pretty I don't know if he's quiet or not, but
He
he
must
doesn't
have
seem to
listen,
be a
he must have said
troublemaker.
somebody's mama, dog. He must have
Something.
like man. I
Because
don't know
last
what
week,
this guy. I have no idea what this guy could have done.
right. And let me just give a little background, America. So, Rashard Higgins was like a third round draft pick a few years ago, became a fan favorite 2018. Seemed to have a very good rapport with Baker Mayfield. And then when Freddie Kitchens took over last year as head coach, he and Rashard Higgins weren't just on the same page. And really, they never explained what happened. But he
A lot
barely,
like Njoku
only
too.
had, yeah, he only had 5 catches last year. So the Browns re-signed him. So I'm thinking, okay, you're re-signing him, so you must want to make him a part of the offense. But then I noticed, like even the first game of the season, when we would bring in our 3 wide receiver package or 4, like JoJo Natson and
Yep. Yep.
Daryl Hodge were getting snaps. I'm like, well, where's Rashad?
Yeah.
So what's going on with that? So come to find out, he was inactive the last 2 games, and with Kadero Hodge, being hurt and JoJo Natson out for the whole season, Higgins got some playing time today, and
You
he
got to
showed
step
up.
up. You got to show. You got to show why
Yeah,
they need to keep you on, and why you need to continue to have a uniform. You have to in this spot.
exactly.
If you're a Rashad Higgins, I mean, it's easy to just collect the check, but bro, I know you want to just. I know you want to play football. I mean, if I was the best burger guy at McDonald's, I don't want to just show up and not work. I don't want to just stand in the back and watch other people sling burgers. I want to actually be a guy
Right.
that's the burger slinger. So I didn't, I don't know why or what was popping off, but it didn't look good for Rashad, but it was really good to see him today. They decided to go to him and let him play, and I'm happy that he was out there. We had a Sheldrick red wine
Right.
sighting today.
After we bashed him last week.
We killed him. We killed him. We killed him. I said he was awful. Like as a player, as a record label, and as a crew. I said he was. I said he was awful.
Yeah,
But
and come
my
to
man,
find out, he was
he showed up today with a pick. So I'm speaking, for America, for those guys that are listening, for Cleveland, who may be listening. I'm just speaking on the positives right now. Sheldrick, well, I always do that when I say his name. Sheldrick Red Wine uh, had a pick today, and he actually played solid. Like when I looked at what he was doing on the field, when he was on the field, he was where he was supposed to be. And I think a part of that is similar to what I said about Terrence Mitchell. Sometimes you can only do what your ability allows you to. But if they're asking you to step outside of that, that's what makes you suck even more. But if
right.
they're asking you to do this within what they want you to do, and they think that's your ability, that's what makes you suck as a football player. So Sheldrick Redwine, I think, he's been in some bad spots with the previous regimes. I don't know that these guys have given him the room or the development to try to figure out what he can or can't do. But I'm putting a little bit of faith in Stefanski and his defense, the defensive coordinators and those guys, the defensive back coaches. I see a little bit more, and I'm gonna get into my negatives. Trust me when I tell you. So I see a little bit more out of those guys than I saw maybe in the beginning of the season. So I had to, tip my cap to Sheldrick. So in terms of my positives for the Browns, I think that was it. It was listen, Baker looked decent. I don't like throwing the ball that much, and I definitely don't like throwing the ball that much early. But Baker looked decent for the most part. So I'm not gonna bash him. I would probably give him a B minus C as a C plus as a quarterback today. The O line again looked great. I hated that Teller went out. That hurt it. That hurt us a lot.
It hurt us
And
a lot in the second half.
yeah, it hurt us a lot because they couldn't stop. What's my man from Frisco? The D tackle.
Buckner.
Buckner. We couldn't stop
DeForest
that
Buckner.
dude. Yeah, we couldn't stop that dude in the second. And
Like
it would have helped
him
to have
or
our interior linemen there. You know what I mean? To throw him
right.
off a little bit. But
And I
uh,
forgot they had Justin Houston too, man. He led the league in
right,
sacks one year.
right, yeah.
He kind of forgotten guy, but he was all pro at one point in time, man. So Indianapolis's defense is
Hey,
pretty
listen,
stout for the most part.
their defensive line for sure. We ain't even talking about the whole defense. Their defensive line is legit. Like
Yeah.
you can say whatever you want. You think I think we only averaged about 3.5. Of course, we didn't have our number one running a back. However, these guys still did their job. Speaking of the Colts defensive line, they did their job. They showed up and they stopped whoever showed up today. They went right in there and they slowed those guys down, and we only got like 3.5 yards per carry, and that's about what their average is. So they did their work. You know, I can't.
Right.
I tip my cap to them too for showing up today and doing what they needed to do. What did you see positively anyway? What did you see in the game today?
Right. My main thing that I'm seeing from this year's version of the Browns overall is I'm starting to see growth. And what I mean by that is at one point in time, we were up, what was it, 27-10? Yeah, we had got a pick six.
Right,
Shout out to Ronnie Harrison, got a pick six. We went up 27-10. And they come right back and they take the kickoff to the house.
right.
And our special teams have been bad all year. All right, so that happened. Then I believe Baker threw an interception, and they go back down and they get a field goal, and it's 27-10, 27-20. Now, normally, when the Browns are making mistakes like that, turning the ball over, giving up a touchdown on special teams, normally the team collapses. We were so bad that we could never overcome those type of mistakes. And now we're getting to the point where even though when we make those type of errors, we're learning from them, we're still able to overcome them and pull out a victory. And those are what good teams have to do, because you're not going to play a perfect game. And I think sometimes, when we sit there and we're analyzing games, we expect perfection, and we can be a little hard on the player sometimes. Understand that, they're human. They're going to make mistakes. The other team are professional athletes as well.
Yeah, they
they're
get
trying to
checks
win
too.
too.
Look,
Yeah,
they get checks too.
they get checks too. So that's why, like, as far as, what I was concerned about wasn't necessarily Baker making those turnovers, because that's going to happen. I don't like that he did it, but after losing Teller, our deep offensive line was breaking down a little bit. He was under a lot of pressure, probably more pressure than he has been all season in that second half, and he made a couple of mistakes.
Okay.
The main concern for me was just like the injuries that we were having going forward. So I was kind of concerned about that. We lost a couple of defensive linemen, and that, bothers me going forward, because we need, all the healthy bodies that we can have.
Yeah.
But, before I even, go that route, as far as like overall, the Browns played a solid game. Also, they took away our run game for the most part.
Yeah.
And so Stefanski adjusted, had to throw the ball a little bit more, and we made some plays. Baker made some plays downfield early in the first half, that got us that big lead. Jarvis Landry made big catches. Austin Hooper showed up. Higgins had a touchdown. OBJ didn't have a big game, but he had some key catches, had a couple of big third down receptions overall. So I like the fact that even though we couldn't run, which is the strong point of our offense, we were able to adjust, still move the ball, and score. And that is an indicator that we have a competent coach that doesn't say, okay, we're going to stick to this game plan and we're going to keep doing this even if it's not working. They saw that they were being stiff against the run. We made some adjustments. and attack them where they were weak. So I was very happy to see that. And then my last point, as far as us growing, we are at a point too when we're making plays when we need to seal the game. Last week it was OJ on a toss sweep.
Mhm.
This week, things were getting, we got down to what, 29-23. Third down. Matter of fact, third and long, and Dearness Johnson had a 20-yard run.
Yeah, that run was huge.
Pretty much sealed the game.
And it
And
was like third. What you say? It was like third and
like third and four, or something like that.
Yeah, and he busted up.
And
Like
we were looking. Yeah, and the
that
play clock was running
good.
down. They were kind of confused, wasn't really set, and got the playoff. And Rashard Higgins made a huge block. When you go back and watch that,
yeah, he blocked down.
play,
Yep.
yeah, he made a huge block that freed up the
Right on the
Johnson.
edge, because it wasn't. He was actually the only dude out there to block actually.
Right.
The blocks all went down, and the run kind of came that way. So the only guy that could have stopped the corner, I'm not sure if it was the corner or a safety, but the only guy that could have stopped him was that wide receiver, and Higgins made that point. Yeah, you're right.
Yep. Now in the past, it would have got tight like that. The Browns would have had to punt the ball. Phillip Rivers would have took the ball right down the field, scored a touchdown. We would have lost 30-29, lost by 1.
Right.
So that's the biggest takeaway from me. And that's, like I said, just not just this game, just overall during the season. I can just see the growth and the maturation of our football team.
I'm gonna tell you something, bro. Doug Deegan, I was listening to a piece of his interview he did on one of the other affiliates, but he said something that really kind of stuck out to me. Like, sometimes winning the small battles equate to winning the big battles. So winning those third down battles, doing the small things in the game, like getting that third down when we got to get a third down and not give them the ball back, or making that block on the edge so that we can make that third down. Like, it's the small battles within the game that actually helps you win the war.
Right.
And that's, again, goes back to Stefanski. It goes back to his coaching staff.
Right.
They are preparing the guys. And here's something else that we haven't seen in a long time, so we can't equate how this might work. The fact that we haven't been 4-1 or 3-1 in a long ass time. How much effort do guys show when you're 1-3?
Right.
And you don't believe whatever's happening around you is going to be the best thing.
You don't believe in the coaching staff. You don't believe in the system or anything like that. You're absolutely right.
So how do you block consistently downfield just because? But it's easier to do when you're 3-1 and you're trying to be 4-1.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a caveat. I understand that. It's a slippery slope. But I think there's something to that as well, and we'll probably discuss that. I mean, hell, who could discuss that more than maybe outside of Cleveland fans? Who could discuss that more than maybe a damn Lions fan? You know, like when you're already 0-5 and you asking this guy to block downfield. We already 0-5, my G.
Right. I'm not about to sacrifice my body and my health.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're right.
Because I'm in the last year of my contract, homie.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be out here on the field so I can get this bonus.
And they call it a business decision. They call it in sports a business decision. Like that.
Hey, come on, man. Come on, bro.
Burn yourself or not.
How many times have we lost because of business decisions, Sean?
Exactly.
So we probably, listen, if we could put those, when you talk about analytics, if we could put those analytics on a page,
right,
that would change everything.
And shout out to Kevin Stefanski, man. Like the clock management too, man. Time management has been superb.
He gets it, man. And one of the things that I heard about him, like I won't say that I did some, like massive background check on a guy like I'm the FBI. But we've had enough bullshit, fake new young guy coaches that have come in here that we just kind of accepted that this guy must be the guy. Like Mike Pettin. Mike Pettin ain't a bad defensive coach. I don't know that he's a coach of men. Like, why do I need you as my head coach is what I'm
You know
saying.
what though? Mike Pettin got a bad deal.
Listen, I'm not
Just because of it was a circus going on.
Listen,
You know.
I don't dispute that. You will never hear me say Mike Pettin was the worst head coach we've ever had. I understand what happened. I know what happened. He was fighting against the front office, which sucks. That's the same thing that's happening in Washington right now. The front office wanted one quarterback. The guy who was the coach didn't want the quarterback, so he barely played the quarterback and didn't do anything to develop the quarterback.
Right. And you touched on that last week about Dwayne Haskins. I want to make this one point real quick. Because I'm kind of disappointed in him right now. So he got benched, and he kind of just started out and pretty much quit. But here's the crazy thing. To me, when you're in that position, you kind of got to stay ready so you can prove yourself to the organization that you are a starting quarterback. Now, the guy that took his place today, Kyle Allen, ended up getting hurt. So if Dwayne Haskins would have still been on his
they didn't even want the dude in the building. They told that dude to stay home.
From what I heard is that he decided that he wasn't coming because he was acting up. Yeah.
The stuff I saw, because I told you in our last show, when he was during practice, he was standing on the sideline with his arms crossed, like I ain't playing or I'm not. So that's why they demoted him to third string.
Right.
And so I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I just heard a different story. Like they're just like, well, if you go, because to me, it's like, hey man, if you ain't gonna participate, stay home. Which is an indictment. That's not an indictment on the Washington football team.
Exactly. The point I was trying to make, if he had to would have stayed with that positive attitude and still would have been ready and engaged, he would have got back in the game today after Kyle Allen got hurt. He would have got put back in.
You remember, and I know this is a different sport, but you remember in the three-game playoff that the Indians had with the Yankees. They pulled the young guy out. That guy wasn't happy that he had to come out. But what did he do? He stood there on the rail. He wasn't sitting in a dugout or in a tunnel. He was on the rail with his arms crossed, rooting for the guy that.
Right, you're talking about Naylor.
Yeah, he was mad as shit. This is a guy who has five hits in 2 games, and Sandy decided to pinch hit.
He was on fire, right,
to take that bat out of the game. So what Sean is saying is there are examples of guys that in a team sport show up and represent anyway. Like, I ain't happy, but I'm going to root for this guy. I'm going to keep this positive spirit. I'm going to keep this positive momentum because I can
you never know when you got to get put back in the game. Like, if he would have stayed positive, stayed engaged, he would have been number 2 quarterback. Kyle Allen got hurt today. He would have went back in the game and he could have said, okay, I'm going to show out. I'm going to show you that
bro, you weren't even in the building. Nope. You weren't even in the building to do that. So that's on. And that's something that I keep telling people. Like, people are like, oh man, I feel sorry for that kid. I can only feel so sorry for the guy. Because I think his talent level is there. He needs some folks to develop him. He needs some help in terms of development. But man, I don't feel sorry for that dude. Like you said, if you being a grump and not showing up and not doing the things that you need to do to help your team, I'm not sure why I need you anywhere around my team. Which is why I said, my comment earlier was just to kind of clarify. I'm not in any way indicting the Washington football team or their coaches. If this dude, I mean, and I've already said that. I said that in the game last week. I mean, excuse me, in our show last week. Their coach is a no nonsense coach, bro. Ron Rivera don't play these games with you.
Right. And he may have
He's
seen
not
something
going
in
to play these
practice
games.
during the team meetings or anything that may have said,
Yeah,
okay, this kid is not taking it serious, or he's not getting it.
and
And maybe
listen,
that's another reason why, because Ron Rivera doesn't seem to be an unfair guy.
he's
Like
not
if
unfair.
Haskins was doing what he was supposed to do and prepping and showing it on the field, I don't think he would have yanked him out
No,
there.
Ron
Clearly he
Rivera is
saw
not
something.
unfair. He is.
Right.
He was a player when Sean and I were little kids.
Oh man, he's
He was
he's with
on
the
the
85
'85
Bears, right?
Bears.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
He was
forgot
on
about
the '85 Bears. So we were 11 years old when that happened, or going on 11 years old when that happened, because that was in January. So actually, we were going on 12 at
going
that
on
time.
12.
But
Yeah.
anyway, that's still. I mean, we were way far from 11 or 12 at this point in our lives. But Ron Rivera grew up in that system and in that era of you play and practice and perform at all times the way you're going to do it in the game. So the reason that Carolina made it to the finals, or excuse me, I'm looking at the finals right now. The reason that Carolina made it to the Super Bowl was a lot of it was because of Ron Rivera, the culture that he presented for them. Now, I know that the talent of each one of those players that were there was the bigger reason. You know, that was the year that Cam was the MVP and all that stuff. But Ron Rivera is one of those guys. He's not gonna do that nonsense. And he didn't take that from Cam. He didn't care. He showed up in the scarf. I need you to, when you put your helmet on, I need you to be Superman.
Right.
And Cam understood that. So that's the same thing with Dwayne Haskins. It's not necessarily happening. Kyle Allen was the guy that was behind Cam last year. So him and Ron have an idea about each other. So
And
he
he
knew.
played fairly well for the
Yeah,
time
he
that he
wasn't
had been
bad.
playing.
He's not a bad.
Right.
Listen, he won a few games that they shouldn't have won when he took over last year. So I mean, again, this dude knows what he's doing. I like Ron Rivera. I think Ron knows what he's doing. It's a bad situation for Dwayne, for where Dwayne came from. But
Yeah, so hopefully he gets his attitude together, man, because other teams will see that
that's the
too.
only thing.
So
It's on
if you
him.
try to catch on with somebody else, they're gonna be like, man, look, are you dedicated to this team, or is it about you?
It's on him. Right now, this is all on him.
And he's a young kid. What is he? 22.
Yeah.
I get it, man.
About that 21, 22.
Right.
But it's all on him, bro.
right,
It's how he decides to deal with the situation.
yeah. I mean, and you have to learn. Because I'll give you a quick story about me, real quick. You know, I bowl, right? I used to bowl competitively in leagues, really since I was like 5 years old. Kind of taking a little hiatus, but
I remember that. I know
and
that.
I can take it real to heart. Like I used to be so bad, man. If we lose, it would ruin my Saturday. I wouldn't talk to none of the other.
I remember because I'll be wanting to come play and you ain't want to come out the house.
Yeah, if I bowl bad, yeah, I wouldn't come out. I mean, I was terrible. So, so we were bowling for positioning to get into the championship round, right? And we lost. Like we barely lost. So then the next week, you know, everybody kind of still bowls that last week. But the best that we could have done was come in third. And I said, I'm not going. I'm not showing up. And so at the banquet, and I didn't think nothing of it. Like, we ain't got nothing to bowl for. So at the banquet, my teammate, you know, kind of like shunned me. He kind of like looked at me like, he didn't say it, but he was like, man, you ain't sure, you know, we still have something to bowl for, and then you the captain and you just don't show up.
Yeah,
And I had to learn from that. I was like, I can't be that. I can't be that way. Also, so it changed my whole demeanor going forward. Like I wasn't the same grumpy guy at bowling. Try to learn how to have a little bit more fun with it, because that's what it was, a church league at that. You know,
but you can't. Oh my God! And it's a church league, so you like.
I was being a complete jerk. Like if we were losing, I wasn't talking to nobody.
And listen,
But
and I'm all competitive like that too, but just kind of going into parts of your story, because some of the things that I do know about you is you're absolutely right. You are super competitive, bro. Nobody would ever think this about Sean. Anybody who knows Sean,
because I'm laid back for the most part. I
because
don't.
he's so super laid back. Like I've played sports against Sean. We play video games. Sean has turned video games off on my ass. Like, no, you're not gonna beat me. Turn it off. Like I've seen him
Right.
at his worst in terms of competitiveness,
Sore
and that's
loser.
even an indictment on him because I'm the same way. I
Yeah.
get so frustrated in competitions. So I get it. I understand. And I
Sore
think
loser. I was a sore loser. That's me.
I
Not
try not to
that I
be a
learned from
sore
that.
loser, but at the end of the day, I think, it does end up playing out like you just
Man, even we was playing sandlot baseball and football back in the day, man. I'd be
bro.
salty.
You listen. I don't know. I don't know if Sean remembers this. I hope he does, but I don't know if he does. So, and this is a whole deviation from where we're going. But this is one of the great things about doing a show with a lifelong friend, a friend that is not just a friend by business, but a friend by you're my goddamn friend, and I've been knowing you since forever.
Right.
So we lived on the same street in the same suburb. When I moved to the suburbs, Sean and his family were already there. One of the connections for me and Sean were that where I grew up at, he actually grew up about
About two
4
streets,
blocks
about three
away.
streets over. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, it was crazy that we had this connection. So we connected with each other very, very quickly. It was nothing, it was no work. It was like 2 seconds and we both understood, all right, bet, it's my guy. Because he gets it, I get it, bang, right? So this one particular day, we were playing football, or we were getting ready to play football, and we were picking teams. And I remember it wasn't a lot of people out there that could really play. And Sean said to me, he said, hey man, and we hadn't even picked captains yet, but Sean said to me as we were walking to the field, he goes, hey man, if you ain't on my team, I'm not playing. So I'm thinking to myself, like, it should be okay. Maybe I'll be one of the captains. So we did this thing. Anybody who's ever played street football, we did this thing with the football. Strings, and no strings.
Yeah. Oh
Strings, and
wow,
no
you
strings.
going way back. Right.
So we did the string, and no string, and I didn't get first pick. So Sean was like the second pick or the first pick for these other guys, because I probably would have been the first pick if I wasn't the captain. So they picked Sean. Sean walked away. He just immediately walked away, and I'm like, "Where you going, dog? We gotta play." And he did. He came back. He played, but he only half-ass played, and I knew he was only half-ass playing. Sean, listen, Sean could potentially be one of the most competitive as well as toxic people where shit ain't going his way. Do you
You
remember
have to
that,
throw the
bro?
word toxic in there.
Do
Yeah, I
you
remember
remember
that.
that shit?
Yeah, I remember that.
I said, man, I'm like, Sean, man, you can't. He was mad. Listen, I've never seen this guy. At that time, I had never seen this guy that mad. I've seen him that mad before now, but at that time, I'm like, Sean, come on, bro. Man, listen, I told y'all a couple weeks ago, and a couple shows ago, rather, that this dude is one of the most pessimistic guys. He is also one of the most competitive people I've ever encountered. And if you ain't on his level, and if you're not ready for the petty, this dude is always ready for the petty. I hope
Yeah.
I hope
But
y'all
you know
understand.
what though? On the flip side though, I don't have people like I don't mind when people call me out if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do either. Like when I
But you've
wasn't
grown
balling
up
well,
since then, though, bro.
yeah.
You've grown
Oh
up a
wait.
lot. Like
Yeah.
you've grown up a lot since then. And that's a part of, just the simple growth as a grown man, as an athlete, whatever you want to call it,
You're
like
supposed
you've
to,
seen
man.
enough stuff that you do get it. And
Yeah, you're supposed to.
this is
Like
the
sometimes
problem
you
that I
gotta.
have with this is the problem that I have with Haskins. I don't know that Haskins. I think the reason that I think Haskins is in the spot that he's in is because he doesn't get it. Nobody has ever just said to him, "Shut the hell up" or "Sit the hell down," because he's always been so good. You know what I mean? Like when you're in high
Yeah,
school and you can run for 100 yards, and then you could also throw for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. Who the hell is talking crazy to you?
right.
Nobody.
Yeah,
And I know we're supposed to be talking about the Browns, but we got off on this tangent of Dwayne Haskins because he's an Ohio State guy, and we're not. Listen, I'll finish it, but we have to at least address it because this is crazy. It's crazy for this guy to be in the spot that he's in, for him to be
right.
that, for you to give up on a lottery pick like that. And I've always had this one stance. Uh, I don't care what sport it is. If you pick a guy in the lottery, you cannot be a project. And if I think you're going to be a project, I'm not drafting you.
Drafting you that high. Yeah, well, let's see how it plays out. He may end up learning from it. He's still young. Let's see how it plays out because it may be that Washington may need him again at some point because now Alex Smith even played today, and with his fragile state,
Man,
like
yeah,
no,
that dude don't need to play no more. You know what? Shout out to Alex Smith, man. That dude been through a lot. Me saying
yes,
that he doesn't need to play again has nothing to do with me thinking that he's himself trash. I just don't want to see him, you know, injure himself and have to go. He's already been through 17 surgeries. I just don't want to see it.
right,
I think that let's leave it to these other cats. I get it, Alex. I've hurt myself. I've had surgery. I've had to repair myself. But I'm 1/17 of what that cat did. I had one surgery. He had 17. I can't even imagine. However, bro, go sit home with your family, love on your family, become a coach. But you can't tell guys that. So I get it. I understand it. Um, to a certain extent, I get it.
yeah,
But
but
I don't think that dude needs to go into a game and then end up getting Joe Theismann. That's
yeah.
the Theismann is a verb, by the way, nowadays.
Well, that's
So,
pretty much what happened to Dak Prescott today. It was one getting put
oh
on
my gosh,
Dak Prescott.
we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah,
That was,
just get well soon. I hate to see people. I hate
yeah,
to
that
see
was
anybody
awful.
get hurt like that, man. So he's done
That
for
was
the year.
awful, but we will talk on
But
that.
let's
So
do this,
let's
man.
talk
Let's go
about the
ahead.
negatives.
Okay.
Let's get into the negatives, and I'll let you lead into whatever you saw for from your angle as your negatives, bro.
Only negatives I have really, you can't turn the ball over. Luckily, we were fortunate that it didn't hurt us. And then just Sendejo again. I'm gonna ride this dude every week. Sendejo is terrible because now in the second half we didn't give up big plays in the passing game like we did in the first quarter. So maybe he adjusted whatever, but Sendejo at times just looks lost out there. So that's really like my only negatives because Indianapolis is a good, solid football. Are they great? No,
Oh, they're
but
not great, but
but
they
they're
are
well
solid. They're
coached.
very solid.
They're well coached, and I really saw things in that defense. I'm like, okay, those guys really
Yeah.
they come at you and hit hard. It's a very physical game. Well, my
Uh,
third negative, I
oh,
got one.
go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
It's just the injuries. Sheldon Richardson got banged up. It was like Kareem Hunt got hurt late. He may have re-aggravated like his hamstring or groin. Who else, man? Somebody else had to leave. Um, Harrison is safety, and he was replacing Carl Joseph,
Yeah,
who was inactive.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he had to pick six. Harrison had to pick six.
Right. And there was another lineman, I can't remember who, but somebody else that went out. The rookie from Missouri. What's his name?
Uh, uh, damn, I can't think of his name, but you talking about the defensive tackle.
Yeah,
Um,
and he was replacing Okunjobi, who was
yeah,
hurt.
yeah,
So
yeah,
now that you're going into Pittsburgh, man, it's kind of like a mass unit. And Baker Mayfield got hurt. He got shaken up twice.
yeah. He got hit.
Um,
Dude hit him in the wrist. I saw it,
right,
like in the throwing hand. So
right,
I think he kind of lost feeling in it for a minute too, because I
right.
saw him
Well,
doing it.
let's hope it's not, because you know how it is. The next day, something will swell up. They do an MRI, then it'll be a cracked bone or something like that, and they
Right.
be out for 6 weeks. Seen that story before. So hopefully these guys can get healthy, man, because we're going into Pittsburgh now, man. This is still a
Yeah,
week.
now we getting
And
into some real
yeah,
football. In terms of in terms of the division, we have
right.
to be able to play within our division. We've already gotten uh, our asses handed to us by the Ravens. So um, I think on our midweek show, if you guys want to tune in, I'm gonna try to get one of my really, really, really good friends, one of my best friends. He was born and raised in Pittsburgh, and he sucks ass. But maybe I'll try to get him into the show to give us his, perspective of the game and allow us to, you know, let him know how much ass he sucks. Cause,
Exactly.
cause,
We hate Pittsburgh. I hate everything about Pittsburgh.
cause he
Can't
sucks.
stand them.
Look, and he doesn't always understand why I hate even going into Pittsburgh. He doesn't always understand that. Like he'll be like, "Well, we just going to the the Pirates game. Why are you mad to go into the Pirates game? It's in Pittsburgh, right? Oh, okay. Yeah, I hate everything freaking Pittsburgh. This is the stupidest hill I've ever went up.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
he's always like, why do you hate everything in my city? Because it's Pittsburgh, you jackass.
And it's only 2 hours away, but a whole different. I mean, it's hard to drive in the city. Hills, mountains, narrow streets.
And a
Ugly
whole bunch
women.
of yins and nats.
Yeah,
That's how they talk. Yins and nats.
screw Pittsburgh. But go ahead and
I don't care. I don't give a damn. So my negatives, here are my few negatives. It was only a couple. Uh, to echo kind of what you were saying, Zendejo today, I've tried, and Sean will tell you guys, or you guys can just go back and check some of our old shows within the last month or so. I've kind of tried to stand up for Zendejo. Sean has never allowed me to have that moment. I'm relenting at this point. That dude stunk today. Like he stunk. He stunk. Like stunk.
I need him to get away from my football team. Seriously, I need him. Like, if I don't see, like, when I turn on Good Morning Football in the morning on the little crawl on the bottom of the
Listen,
screen, I want to see what's his first name? Anthony.
I don't even know.
First name. His first
I
name is
don't
even
even.
irrelevant at this point.
I didn't even look it up. I gotta
What
look
I
it up.
what I want to see on the bottom of that screen is breaking news: Cleveland Browns have released safeties Zendejo. I don't care who they put in there.
Listen, man,
That dude
that
needs
guy
to go.
was awful today. He gave up at least two 25-plus yard plays within that defense. Now they do play a lot of one safety high type of stuff. But if you're the one safety high, you have to be high. He was always the underneath guy.
Right.
Like,
Like his instincts right now are just
yeah,
terrible.
he's off, bro. He's off, man. So he was bad today. He was bad. Like he was bad today. He was bad. So Zendejo is one of my negatives. I didn't necessarily like seeing Baker throw as much as I saw Baker throw. I thought I like what Stefanski was attempting to do. But you know how I feel, and I know how you feel about being the smartest dude in the room all the time. Sometimes you just got to do this until they stop this, right? And if they stop this, then we can go to something else. But it didn't really look like, Hunt. That's my other thing. Hunt didn't really look like he looked last week. And I don't know if it was the defense or if it was the offensive line or if it was him.
It's probably
But
a
we'll see.
combination. It's probably a combination of both. And give Hunt credit. He eked out 72 tough
That was tough as
yards.
hell.
Yeah,
That
was a workman's like performance. And
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
in the NFL, man, you're not gonna get 150 yards every year.
And listen, and that's fine. I'm okay. I'm okay that he didn't get that. But I was like, was it this or was it that? Because I don't have enough sample size because he always comes in
Right. Yeah. I get what you're saying.
behind Chubb. So I don't know. So that was a negative, not because it was a negative, but because I don't really know. So I'm a highlight that and then continue to watch it over the next 5 or 4 to 6 weeks, however long Chubb is out. Because I need to see if this is an issue because it ain't going to get any easier next week against Pittsburgh.
No, not at all.
It's only going to get worse. So you have to, as the running back, as the key running back, as the number one running back, you have to be able to hit those holes and get to where you're getting. And I'm not sure if what I saw today makes me feel like that's what this guy is still capable of. I know he can, but can you do it consistently? And that was another one of my negatives. So go ahead, bro, with your negatives if you have any, or if you got something.
I already went over my negatives, but we can go ahead and give our game balls.
All right.
So
all right, you go ahead, bro. Get your game ball.
I'm gonna give one to Rashard Higgins. For not, being active the last 2 weeks. He came in, contributed, caught a touchdown pass, and he had a huge block to spring Dearness Johnson, which pretty much sealed the game on that long run in the fourth quarter. Also going to give a game ball to Myles Garrett, of course. Played an excellent game, wreaked havoc all day. Probably he didn't have a strip sack today. That's become like his norm now. But I think he did force an interception, like when he disrupted.
Yes, he did.
Philip Rivers enough to
and a bunch of incompletions. I'll tell you that he forced at least 3 incompletions.
Right, and then my third game ball, I actually want to give it to the Browns coaching staff, just for making the necessary adjustments with the play calling and whatnot to make sure that we pulled this game out. So.
That was, I give you credit for that, bro. I know I gave a game ball a couple weeks ago to Bill Callahan, one of the coaching guys, but today in this particular situation, I wasn't even thinking about the adjustments that these guys made. So that was a great game ball, bro. I'm gonna say that out loud. That's a great game ball, giving it to the coaching staff because they did do a great job. That wasn't one of my game balls, and I'm just saying that to kind of echo. So today, I'm gonna give my first game ball to who else? Myles Garrett. This dude is incredible. This dude is a problem. This dude is a legit. I have to fix my entire offense or whatever I do well to make sure this guy doesn't wreck it. He's that. I told you, he's a specialist. He doesn't always, maybe give you the tangible numbers. But, man, this dude is incredible. This dude is all over the place a lot of times. Like a lot. So I got to give a game ball to Myles. He had another sack. He leads the league in sacks. He's at 6, I believe.
Yep.
In freaking 4 weeks, which is stupid.
Right.
He's got already 3 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery. Myles Garrett is incredible, and if you think he might not be incredible, you are either coming down with early onset Parkinson's,
Dementia.
something that where you just can't remember some stuff. I don't understand why you couldn't see what this guy actually means to not just the Browns, but to football. Like, he's getting ready to get into those types of conversations, not just football conversations. Not just Cleveland Brown conversations, but into football conversations where you're comparing him to Lawrence Taylor, Bruce Smith, those guys that affected games in ways that you had to adjust your entire offense to keep these guys out. So Myles Garrett gets one of my game balls. My other game ball, I'm gonna give it to Olivier Vernon. You know why? That dude was as disruptive as I've seen him in weeks. Like, I was looking for him, and I didn't have to look that far. He didn't get. If you look at the stat line, he might have had 2 or 3 tackles, but man, this dude had at least 5 pressures. I saw him push his guy into Phillip Rivers no less than 3 times.
Yeah, exactly.
So hey man, big ups to Olivier. Hopefully this is the guy that you're getting ready to become for us. I know that might have been a guy that you were for Miami. I know that might have been a guy that you were for the Giants. But I hope that that's the guy that you're getting ready to be for us. Again, we talked about that in the midweek show, that I think Myles creates so much discourse in an offensive line that it allows guys like Sheldon and Olivier to be single covered. And if these guys could just be aggressive enough, it can happen. So that was my second game ball, was Olivier. And believe it or not, again, show you guys that we're not haters. My third game ball goes to Sheldrick Wine, Red Wine. I told you I messed that dude's name up every time I say it. Totally. I thought, and I've believed for the last year and a half, 2 years that this guy's been on the team, that he may have been the worst guy to put on a Cleveland Browns jersey. However, today, all he did was be where he needed to be at least twice, because he had a pass defense as well, but he also had an interception, and it stopped momentum that these
Stop
guys
the momentum. Yeah, that was a huge interception.
So I'm
Definitely.
going to give a guy that we've given grief to a game ball, and all of those things, the negatives and the positives, by the way, all led to my Cleveland Browns, to our Cleveland Browns being leaving this week 4-1, going into Steeler week. I hate the Steelers. They're pieces of shit. I wish that they didn't exist. However, they exist, and we gotta play them next week. What do I do? I just gotta watch the game, and hopefully we don't get shit on ourselves because they're shitty. So that's it for today in terms of what happened for the Browns. I also want to talk a little bit. We kind of led into a few of those things. We led into this a little bit a bit ago about Dak Prescott. It looked like my man broke his ankle. It was awful. It was one of the worst things I've seen in terms of an injury. Just being frank, without the injury, I didn't think that Dak Prescott was an elite quarterback. Doesn't matter. He's been really good for what Dallas does, and he deserves to get paid. And I think I said that as well. And seeing him get hurt, it really just made me more upset because it's kind of like a win for Jerry. Like,
Yeah.
while I'm not sure that he was rooting for this dude to get hurt. I wouldn't say that. But I know that Jerry's like, yeah.
Yeah, because my only thing is, like, here's my thing. I never thought that Dak deserved, like, Russell Wilson type money, which he was
Hell no, he
asking
don't
for.
deserve this shit.
But the caveat is, like, Dak Prescott isn't doing anything differently than Tony Romo did.
Listen,
And yet,
he's not.
Tony Romo got his money.
Thank you, son. Thank you.
So when
And
you
you
put
must
it,
have known where I was getting ready to go. You had
right.
to know that that's where I was getting ready to go.
So when you put it in that perspective, you need to go ahead and pay the man. So shout out to Dak Prescott. I hope you get well soon, recover, and come back strong
Dak,
next year.
I hope and pray that you get well and that you get well fast. And I also hope that you get your money, whether it's in Dallas or whether it's somewhere else. I hope that you get your money, bro.
Yes, sir.
Because you have, in terms of wins and in terms of, your performance on the field, you have performed as well as the guy who ended up retiring with multiple back issues that got all the money he could find for no reason because he didn't win shit just like you did.
He sure didn't.
It's no reason. And I'm saying that not to ridicule that. I'm just saying it just in general, just equating the both. Tony Romo didn't win shit. Am I wrong, bro? Or am I missing something?
You're
Because he
absolutely
didn't
right.
win shit as far as I'm
He
concerned.
didn't win anything.
I got one less playoff win than Tony Romo does. Me. And I ain't playing the NFL.
Right.
So again, my hat's off, and I gotta tip my cap to Dak. Dak is one of those guys that you just kind of like, even though you may not like him. Also, as I'm getting ready to segue to something else, looks like the Lakers, LeBron gets his 4th ring. The Lakers are, as you predicted on our midweek show, they blew these guys out. They blew these guys out early. They didn't give them a shot. They didn't give them a chance. You predicted that on our Wednesday show. So, again, I tip my cap to my man. This is why he here, because he he can see things and understand some things that we don't always see. Look, JR already got his shirt off.
I'm not watching the ceremony. I'm watching I got the Vikings and the Seahawks. So I'm not gonna watch
this dude JR ain't did nothing to do nothing. But he got his shirt off.
Nothing at all. But shout out to
else, man. I'm glad. This is an easy segue into the NBA because we were going to talk about the finals as it was. I don't know how celebratory you could be on this. Like how celebratory. I'm not going to put an asterisk, and I'm not requesting an asterisk. I'm not expecting an asterisk because I remember back in '99 when Tim Duncan and those guys won a championship. I knew one thing if I didn't know nothing else. As Patrick Ewing had the Knicks won, would they want an asterisk next to their name? Ask Charles Barkley, would he have wanted an asterisk next to his championship if he had won that year?
Man,
so nobody wants that shit. So let's
winning the championship is difficult, and it was probably more difficult in that bubble setting than anything. You're away from your family. Move how you want to move. You're confined to a hotel.
Yeah. You can't move around like you want. Yeah.
Right, and you're playing games every other day. Sometimes, like even back to back. So you really didn't have like a rest period. Especially in the playoffs, you know how they stretch the play back. Under normal circumstances, in the first round, you would have like 3 days between games.
Yeah.
Now they were spitting them out. Every other day you had to get out there through injuries, through going through that testing every day. Man, you getting tested every single day of them sticking a swab up halfway up your nose. I'm sure that's irritating.
It's a tough setup. It's a tough situation, man. And shout out to the Lakers, to LeBron, to AD, to my guy KCP. again, I will not, I will never give a guy grief
Right.
when a guy shows up and then act like I didn't see him show up. KCP showed up
Yeah,
again today.
he showed out and he showed up and showed out in the finals,
So
man.
my hats
So
off to KCP.
congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers and
Congratulations
LeBron
to,
James
what
and
is
the
that,
Los Angeles
17 now? Or is it 18?
That's 17, I
Okay.
believe. And then,
Yeah. And
you know,
I used to be a
LeBron,
Lakers fan. I used to be a super Lakers fan. Sean to tell you, I was
yeah,
all about Magic Johnson. That was the reason I played basketball. That was the reason I wanted to.
right.
One of my homies back in the day used to call me Little Magic because I thought I was gonna grow to be 6'9". I wanted to, but I didn't realize. Look, I didn't realize my daddy was 5'8" and my mama was 5'1". So the
Right,
chances of that was kind of small.
right.
And I actually did. Look, I'm taller than both my parents. I'm 5'10". I don't even know how that happened.
Hey, man.
But the Lakers are one of the great organizations in terms of how they're run. We've been here before as a team. The Cavs have in terms of Cleveland. We've seen it, and we've seen it with LeBron. LeBron sees another championship, and that's great for him. He's got his fourth. Shout out to LeBron James. Again, you guys, anybody who follows the show knows I'm not no super LeBron fan, but again, ain't no hate. You won a championship, homie. So cart that trophy off. I don't know who. I'm looking now to see who wins or who gets the MVP. They haven't said quite yet, but we're
It's
gonna
going to be
see it.
LeBron
We're gonna see
James.
here in a minute. And if
We
it's
already know
LeBron,
that.
listen. If it's LeBron, I'm gonna be upset. And I'm not gonna be upset because LeBron doesn't deserve it. I think I'm gonna be upset because I think AD did more in a situation that wasn't his
And
normal
look,
situation.
right, man, LeBron had a triple-double. So a triple-double in the closeout game. Plus he had, 40 in game 5. So he's going to get the MVP, and I think he deserves the
Well,
MVP.
I'll tell you what. I didn't listen. You said that in the Wednesday show, so it made me pull back from saying he didn't deserve it. Because what you didn't hear me say was he didn't deserve to win it. I didn't necessarily think he should have gotten it when he was in Cleveland, but I also don't think he should get it tonight. I thought Kyrie, because you can look at numbers, but did you watch the game? Kyrie showed up in so many critical moments of that series. Uh, and shit, Kyrie did everything LeBron did. You know, when LeBron scored 40, guess who else scored 40 with him? Kyrie did. When we were down and not hitting shots and doing the things that we should have been doing, who was showing up? Kyrie was rolling off 10, 12 points at a time. And that's the same thing that I saw Anthony Davis do. So just being a fan of the game, I know how, I'm just gonna hand this to Michael Jordan and all that stuff. I know what that means. I know what that says because you got a guy that's the face of your franchise or the face of your league to win it. I know what that means. But the truth is, who should be the MVP? It should be the
LeBron
guy that
James.
stepped up at those times. I'm still talking. Shut up.
LeBron should get the
who
MVP.
who should be your guy in that particular moment? And to me, it should be the guy that carried you through some of those critical freaking moments. Now, I will give you that. I will say that. I did not know that LeBron was, uh, I'm getting ready to throw up watching Dwight Howard walk around with the
Oh,
goddamn.
I forgot he get a ring.
I'm getting ready to throw up right this second watching Dwight Howard walk around with a damn trophy. I've never seen a 7-foot waste of space like that, dude.
Right. Exactly. You know what? We can get off on a tangent. We could talk about that all day, man. But Once again, shout out to the Lakers. Now, it will be interesting now with everything still being crazy, because everything with baseball and the NBA is like off schedule. Because as a matter of fact, the NBA should be in training camp,
Yeah.
get ready for the for the 2021 season.
Yeah,
So now
it's
they
October.
push things back. So
They're not
are they
supposed to
going
be.
to?
Yeah, it's October. They shouldn't be. They should be gearing up for the 21-22.
Right.
Excuse me, the 2021 season.
They haven't even had the draft yet, so they have to draft, figure out are you going when you can't do a bubble with 32
And
teams.
and when do they start
That's
back up?
impossible.
Like
Yeah.
when's the start back
He's
coming?
saying basically Adam Silver, I think that you have posted an interview with him on our Facebook page. He said either December, I think it'll probably be more likely like January, and they'll probably have a truncated season because they have to get it back on schedule at some point. So they will probably have maybe like a 50-game season.
What was this? What was this? What was the number on this particular season? Do you remember?
It would have
In
been
terms of the game,
71.
was it 71? Really?
Yeah, because the Lakers ended up 52-19. So
Okay.
yeah, so they played
Okay.
71 games.
Okay.
Miami ended up playing. See now, Miami 44-29, so they played 73. So I guess it all depends on. I guess when the original season ended and the bubble picked up, I guess teams had played a different amount of games, and may even played a different amount of games in the bubble. So that's interesting how that.
Yeah, it's a
How
weird.
that worked out. Yeah.
I mean, this is gonna be a weird. I would say the next maybe 2 or 3 years. Look at Deion Waiters standing back there, just
Oh, he
grinning
gets
and
one too, huh?
throwing up gang signs. Are you kidding
It's,
me right now? I mean, come on, Deion. Yeah, my gosh. Anyway, I just kind of.
that's why I'm not even watching it. It's like I'm
I
watching
just go back. I just go back towards real players, guys that play. LeBron is a real player. There ain't no question about that. AD is a real player, which is why we're only discussing one or two guys as the potential MVPs. All these other guys is just there for the sake of. I mean, but they had guys that stepped up. KCP stepped up and played really, really good those last 2 or 3 games. Rondo, I said this and people gave me grief. I said, man, Rondo stepped up and played like we both discussed, and it's LeBron. LeBron won the MVP again, the Finals MVP. Like I just thought Rondo stepped up and played, so he gave them another dimension that now you really can't slow these cats down. You know what I mean? Like you could say, oh yeah, we're gonna stop them or we're gonna keep them from this, that, the fifth, whatever. But no, you're not. You're not really gonna stop these guys when you have a guy that can prevent you from stopping us from doing.
He was just doing all the little things, all the dirty work.
Yeah, and that listen, bro, that was it. He was the Ron Harper of this series. He was the old savvy vet that facilitated everything else that ever happened. So again, shout out to LeBron. That's MVP number 4 for LeBron. He averaged 29.8, 11.8, and just under 7 assists, I believe, per game. They just showed it, but I can't go back and look at it. But yeah, he was almost at a triple double. Listen, the dude is a stat filler. I've had him on fantasy basketball a few times. And whether you like him or not, it's one of the things that you do in fantasy is you understand how good guys are.
Right.
Like you're like, oh, I need Hines Ward because one thing Hines Ward's gonna get you 2 touchdowns for no freaking reason.
But don't bring up no Steelers right now. Not doing Steelers.
Listen, I'm just keeping it 100.
No, don't bring up
those are guys that I don't like, and I don't always like LeBron, but LeBron always fills up those stat categories.
Yeah, he affects the game in multiple ways. Okay.
Yeah, and he has He's one of these few guys that have 3 championships with 3 teams. He now joins Robert Ory and Danny Green as.
Well, those two don't count.
Yes, they do, because they got 3 rings with those 3 teams.
Here's my thing. Like, LeBron's is different because he led 3 different teams to a championship.
They do count. And I'm not sitting here trying to deride the dude. I'm not trying to deride the dude. I just said Robert Ory got 3. Does he not have 3 championships with 3 teams? Did he not hit, honestly, with both teams, did he not hit 3 really big shots with each team?
Yes, he did.
So you can't say that dude doesn't belong in that conversation. No, he did not give 30 points and whatever else, rebounds, whatever that LeBron. I didn't say he was a superstar.
I mean,
but
really,
he's not the only guy who's ever done it.
I mean, like Jack Haley has probably like 3 rings with 3 different teams too.
Jack Haley does. You're right. Actually,
with the Spurs, Bulls, and the Lakers.
I think he was with the Bulls, and I know he was with the Bulls in the
Lakers.
Yeah, I think he might have been with the Spurs too. To be honest, I have to go back and look. But
I didn't know Tracy McGrady got a ring with the Spurs.
Yeah, he was there.
You want to talk about gravy training your way to a title? My God, I forgot. They were showing like some. I watched Hardwood Classics and stuff like that. I was like, McGrady was on that team.
Yeah, he was on that. Listen,
he got a ring.
Danny Ferry got 2 rings.
Yeah, but Danny Ferry actually played.
He didn't play that much, but Danny Ferry
didn't
got 2 rings.
Brady didn't play at all.
and Kerr did. Listen, the first year that Kerr was in San Antonio when they won the championship, Kerr didn't play that much. He played more in that second championship than he did in that first one.
Right.
Like Kerr kind of proved himself. And I think it was some injuries that happened. But
right. Like Gary Payton got one with the Heat. He got one with that 06 Heat team.
Who?
Gary Payton. The one with Wade and Shaq.
Yeah, listen. Yeah. GP, but actually GP played well with them. He played really good.
He did play a little bit. Yeah.
He went to L.A. with Karl Malone, if you guys forget.
I remember that. And that expert, that was
that didn't work.
No, it didn't.
Detroit beat the hell out them. And then he went to Miami.
One thing, they was all crippled.
Yeah, they was old like that. You had Karl Malone, but you also had, but they shouldn't have left. They should have never lost. The reason that they lost is because Kobe and Shaq were feuding, and they were giving each other, way more grief than they should have been giving each other.
Right.
But again, no hate, no slight. Shout out to the Lakers. When you win a championship, and I've been there, I remember being in this same spot 4 years ago, feeling like the king of the world. It was Father's Day, and I didn't want nothing to do with my kids. All I wanted to do was watch the Cavs win the championship potentially, because that was all we had at that moment.
Yeah, man. The crazy part about that day, man, the whole city was on edge all day.
We
took my father out to breakfast.
Listen, bro.
Everybody in Bob Evans was quiet. I mean, you could hear nobody saying nothing. It was like 8:00 in the morning. I had the same T-shirt I had wore for the whole playoffs.
I wore my Cleveland
like a peeled onion. That shirt was trifling. I'm not taking this shirt off until we.
I was at Game 6. I was at Game 6, so I had the same shirt that they gave us for Game 6 on. So I had it on underneath my suit because I didn't know where I was gonna be. So I was like, man, I ain't got time to go home and change clothes and all that kind of dumb shit. But I had this T-shirt on it just says CLE and the wine colors. It was a black T-shirt and it was outlined in the it had the gold colors, but it was outlined in wine. And it was a black T-shirt. So I think I had it on a couple times ago, but I'll put it on again. Trust me, I will, because it says CLE on it. And this is all about Cleveland. So I put this thing on. I go pick up my brother, my younger brother, my youngest brother, who's 18. So I'm like, at the time, I'm 42. He's 18. I pick up my nephew. I leave my mom and my dad in the restaurant. Like when we got done eating, I was like, all right, hey, listen, I gotta go. I leave. I'm like, I'm out. My brother Donnie flew into Cleveland from Houston, where he lives at, and he was like, bro, there's no way. I came here for Father's Day. However, there's no way I'm gonna miss being in Cleveland when and if we win this championship. I'll never forgive myself. Like, these are the reason that myself and Sean started this podcast is for that type of situation. You can't not be here for the win. Like
exactly.
that sentiment, that particular sentiment, bro. You can't recreate that. You damn sure can't recreate it from Houston. Like, man, I gotta be home. If I was out of town or if I was somewhere else, man, I gotta be home. I gotta get my ass home. Because, my job, I travel for my work, but man, I'm about to be back at the crib.
Right.
And being in Cleveland, being downtown Cleveland, and seeing the shenanigans that these guys poured out into the city for a championship. I don't know that we'll ever have that again because of where we are right now. But man, it's nothing like that. It was
Man,
nothing.
trust me, it could be the third wave of COVID. And if the Browns win a Super Bowl,
it's over with.
It's over. People are not gonna care. People will be outside spreading the virus.
Like them folks that do the looting. Oh, I'm gonna be out there unmasked and
probably about 5 below zero.
Just going berserk.
Right.
Just
the whole city is go crazy. Like we had over 1 million people downtown for the Cavs parade. If the Browns won a Super Bowl, it'll be double that. Easy. It would
way easy, bro.
Be insane.
Way easy. I keep saying this. And Sean is the only person that will agree with me. Well, he's not the only person, but he's one of the only people that I actually have respect that same way for. So when I say it, Sean gets it, because I'm not saying it in a hateful way. LeBron could have won this championship this year and 2 or 3 more while he was here. If the Browns make it to the Super Bowl, it trumps all of that.
It does.
It trumps.
It's always been a football town, man. It's always had, and it always will be.
It trumps all of this.
Came here.
And people get mad. They're like, "Oh man, you a hater? That you only saying that because you don't like LeBron." It's never been that I don't like LeBron. I just understand what this is.
It just is what it is.
And it is what it is. And Sean knows that.
It's a football town first. It's a baseball town second.
Yeah.
And basketball third.
The Cavs have always been on first base with the Browns on third and the Indians on second.
Right.
The Cavs have to generate the progress. I mean, they used to exist in a building that's seated like 45,000 people. They probably only got if they got half of those people in the building, even when the Cavs are doing really, really good, it took a lot for people because it was an hour away from the city.
Oh, you're talking about they played at the Coliseum.
When they played at the Coliseum. When the Cavs finally got good, I remember because my uncle, I don't want to blow my spot and I don't want to put fam out there like that. But my uncle used to work for the Cavs, and he still does actually right now. And he used to tell me it just isn't, like, it's not lucrative for people to come all the way out here just to go to a game. He was the first person to tell me or kind of allude to the situation that these guys would be downtown at some point. He was like, nah, I don't think this going to continue to be. I mean, the Force used to fill the building before the Cavs did.
Yeah, back then. Yeah.
Like the Force was in the finals like 2 or 3 years in a row.
And what he's talking about,
And won one.
he's talking about the
And won
Cleveland
one,
Force.
by the way.
That was an indoor soccer league team that we had.
Yeah, that's right.
Back in the 70s and 80s.
Here I am talking to Sean like we on a regular phone call. I'm sorry. The Cleveland Force, as Sean just pointed out, was the MISL, the Major League Indoor Soccer League, that disbanded since at that time in the 80s and early 90s.
Right. And we were so thirsty for a winner that they would sell out. In fact, it was the only team in the league that made a profit. Like the league folded, not because of us. Like the Cleveland Force made a profit. Those other teams didn't.
Nobody else was making a profit.
Right. They'd have 2,000 people, and we are selling out the Coliseum at 20,000.
Yeah,
strong.
The Coliseum seated for them like around about 30, 35,000, which is ridiculous. But those people would show up to watch major indoor soccer because we hadn't seen a winner in Cleveland in so long. How ridiculous is that, bro?
Right.
I'm gonna mess all y'all up one of these days when y'all go to the YouTube channel, which is Two Guys and a Mic 216. I'm gonna have on a Force t-shirt. I'm gonna mess up all old school cats that pay attention. I'm gonna mess Sean up. I'm gonna put that joint on. Listen, I'm about to order it tonight.
Hey, go ahead and order it online. It's probably about $8.99. I can get one dirt cheap.
Look, I could probably get it from somebody who played with it.
And I still don't know what that logo was. It was some type of spaceman with a kicking a soccer ball.
It was a dude who was kicking a ball, and it was like a tornado that he was kicking. I don't know.
I still don't know what that thing was. But let's go ahead and do this, man. Let's real quick touch on the baseball playoffs and make our predictions. Right now in the American League Championship Series, it is the Tampa Bay Rays against the cheating ass Houston Astros.
Look, I have it written down. I want you to see this. I'm glad you said that. I want you to see this. Can you see that? What does that say?
Yep, the Houston Cheaters.
The Houston Cheaters.
In the National League Championship Series, we have the Los Angeles Dodgers against the Atlanta Braves. So right now, game one is going on now, the Astros and the Rays, and Tampa is actually leading 2-1 in the top of the seventh. And then the Braves and the Dodgers start tomorrow. That'll be game one for them. So, and not to go in all in depth and all this analysis and stuff like that, I'm going to just make my picks. I'm going to pick the Rays, and it's the best of 7 series. I think the Rays will get the Astros. The Rays have one of the most underrated organizations in sports. They don't spend a lot of money at all, but they have a great farm system and just turn out talent, and they're competitive every year. And just karma, being what it is. The Astros.
They just hit the shit out this dude, man.
Did they?
Man, he just hit the shit out this dude.
Well, you just turned to the football game?
No, I mean, I'm watching the baseball. I'm actually watching the ALCS.
Okay.
And they hit. And listen, if he hadn't turned around, he would have caught that right in the chin. He caught it in the back of his shoulder.
Okay.
Wow. My bad.
Then, no, you're good. And then in the National League, I'm actually going to go with the Rays.
You said you're going with Tampa?
I'm going with Tampa.
Okay.
And then I'm going
are you going with Tampa because Houston is full of cheaters?
No. I just think Tampa probably has a better overall team, man. They've been on the cusp for quite a while, so I think it's like it's their turn to finally go ahead and get to the World Series. And then I'm picking the Braves. Braves have been kind of there too, flirting. Getting to the playoffs, getting eliminated, and I think the Braves are ready to take that next step too. Okay. So that's what I'm going with.
I see your picks, and I raise you a few.
All right.
I will start in the NLCS, National League Championship. I'm gonna go with the Dodgers. Now I'm gonna tell you what. To kind of, like I said, I see you. Atlanta has a great offense. Like, again, when you said that the Tampa, I'm calling them the Devil Rays. I don't give a damn. When the Devil Rays has a great organization, you know who also has a really great organization? The Atlanta Braves. Let's just be honest. Whether we like them or not, they are always kind of there. They always do some of the right shit to put themselves right here all the time. You don't even always know some of their players all of the time. However, they always have a great team.
Right.
So my hat's off to the Atlanta Braves for always fielding a team that's a problem for the National League. Like, the National League has to deal with these guys. I like Acuna. That dude is a monster.
Yeah, he is.
Acuna Jr. But they also have great pitching. Surprise, the Atlanta Braves have great pitching. However, the Dodgers have been exactly what the Braves have been. A team that's right on the cusp. A team that's been deep into the playoffs and even into the World Series. They just haven't been able to pull it off. However, I think this year that the Dodgers will at least pull this NLCS off. So I'm going to reach into my bag of tricks, and I'm going to say that the Dodgers win this series somewhere close to 4-2. I think they have the ability with the pitching. I think the management is there. The offense is there too. In the last series, these dudes had history. Atlanta and what's the team they were playing against?
Miami.
Miami. They had history, and I feel like Miami, gave these guys too much energy. Like, Miami was ahead, and then they hit Acuna, a guy who gets hit like 67 times a year. And then this team has hit him out of those 67 times, 35 times. And my numbers are off. So anybody who's checking my numbers, this is hyperbole.
Fact check.
Yeah. Yeah. This is hyperbole.
Fact check.
But they've hit this dude at least 4 or 5 times. They got a history hitting him. And literally, I was watching the game when they were up, when Miami was up, and they hit this guy. And I remember the announcers just being like, "Why do you want to awaken these guys when they're kind of down right now? You're up 2-1 in the series, and you're up like 3 or 4-0. They were up 4-0 at that time. So now you hit this guy. Now this guy's pissed off. So now you pissing off the next guy behind him too, because he's ready to take, go to bat to show you why you don't. Okay, you gonna hit him. Now I'm about to hit this, and literally right after that, these guys had a rally and they won that game. So, I just think that the Braves are a good team. They're a really good team. But I'm going to go with the Dodgers, and I'm going to go with Tampa as well. I think Tampa, as we said, when you talk about well-run organizations, I don't know that Houston are cheaters. They're cheating. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm rooting for Tampa because Houston are cheaters.
Okay.
That's just me. I don't know what to believe about those guys. Like, how do you come from Houston and you go to another team and talk about integrity? What?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I just think you guys are cheaters, and I hope you guys lose. I hope that Tampa beats the shit out of you guys.
Well, we will
Because
definitely see
you
how.
can't always cheat, bro. I remember we weren't that good. When I played baseball, we weren't that good. We had talent on the squad, but we weren't that good. But damn, we wasn't cheating.
Right. Well, just one quick point. I mean, everybody tries to steal signs. You try to pick up on some signals, but
Bro,
that's fine when you do it in the midst of the game and you're actually just in a competitive way. But when you got a camera up there and you're filming it, and then you're
that's
relaying
it.
stuff to
That's
your,
it.
and you got your
Well,
players with
you
pagers on, with
can't
beepers
actively cheat.
to
You
tip
cheat
them
in
off.
the game. You
Yeah.
cheat in the game. If I could see you, if I know if I already know what pitch you getting ready to pitch right now, because I saw your reckless catcher or your reckless second baseman, and I know they about to pick you off of first, and I just look down first like, don't do it, don't do it, nigga. That's different. But these guys already have intel going into games based on previous stuff. Same thing we said about the Patriots, right?
Right.
So I can't give these guys no pass. I don't get the Patriots no pass.
Right.
Patriots pieces of shit too. I like Bill Belichick, but I'm glad. Only reason I'm glad he not with the Browns because these dudes would try to take away all our championships if we had won some with him. I don't want you to try to discredit my championships. I want you to
Right.
know that I won those championships because
Fair
we
and
were
square.
that good.
Right. I
And
got you.
that's where I'm at. So that's where we are right now with the ALCS with Houston Cheaters and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, and I said Devil Rays on purpose. The LA Dodgers versus the Atlanta Braves, and I'm rooting for the Dodgers. I've never liked Atlanta. I actually hate Atlanta for their traffic and for their baseball team.
Wow.
Ain't that a statement? Ain't that a statement?
Right. In traffic and the baseball team. Well, man, let's go ahead and wrap up this show for tonight.
Well, before we wrap it up,
Yeah.
I want you guys to know this. Next weekend, Ohio State football comes into play.
Yes.
So we don't want to forget this. And I know we could have brought this up on Wednesday, but we're going to bring this up today and Wednesday. Why? Because it's all about the
OH.
IO. I'm
Right.
telling you. Listen.
Find the best conference in the land is finally coming back. So I ain't got to just
Man,
put up
listen.
with this SEC and Big 12 all day.
Listen, I watched a lot of football on Saturday, meaning I watched a lot of college football. For you guys who are kind of missing that particular boat, I watched the Red River shootout. Lincoln Riley is a goddamn idiot. I have no idea what the hell he was doing because that shouldn't have went to 3 overtimes. It should have went to regulation had he just ran the ball with a team that don't have no timeouts. Why
Right.
would you pass the ball? Having said that, that lets you know my passion for college football because I believe college football is as pure as anything on the planet, short of paying people money behind closed doors.
Right.
Yeah,
And we
yeah,
haven't
yeah.
really touched on college football really at all
We haven't,
on
but we're
our
getting ready
podcast.
to.
Yeah, now
Listen,
that Ohio State's back, I give us
we
something
getting
else to
ready
talk
to
about.
because once Ohio State gets rolling, because we're gonna kick the shit out of Nebraska. By the way, I don't know if anybody out there is listening in Nebraska, but hey, Nebraska, I want you to know that the foot that you're gonna feel on Saturday is ours in your whole ass.
You know what? Like I said,
We
on that
are
note,
going to kick Nebraska's ass
all right,
on Saturday, and I'm
right
only
now,
saying that because I'm Ohio State fan.
right now, RP is as out of control. He's sitting there, he just threatened the whole state of Nebraska. You
Whole
know,
state, the entire state of Nebraska.
the entire state of Nebraska. But let's go ahead and we're gonna wrap up our show for this evening. I got a long day. Matter of fact, I got a long week, so I'm about to go ahead and turn in and get some rest and get ready to tackle my work day tomorrow, and then we will be back with you guys on Wednesday,
All right.
as usual. So,
hey, listen, everybody, I just want to, say it again. I say it all the time. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, whoever you are, wherever you are. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. We're just trying to build a fan base. This is something regular for me and Sean. We talk to each other often after Browns games. We go on tangents and we will talk for 2, 3, 4, 7, 8 hours.
yeah, right.
We've done it before, but this is a forum for us to kind of put it out there for you guys to hear our conversations and to hear our philosophies and takes on football and every other part of sports. So we appreciate you guys listening. If you guys want to contact us, I mentioned it before. We have a YouTube page. It's two guys. The number spelled out TWO. Guys and a mic 216. The number's 216. So you can actually see us in the midst of our podcast. That's a great thing to be able to match a face with a voice. Also, we are on many podcast mediums in terms of audio. We'll put those out there as well. You can meet us on any of those links. Right now, we're recording on Anchor, but we'll be on Apple Podcasts. We'll be on Spotify. Again, two guys and a mic, TWO, guys and a mic, 216. So you'll be able to pick us up there. And if you guys want to just contact us, talk to us, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like, tell us what you wish we would do, tell us what you wish we would stop doing. Again, it doesn't mean that that's what we're going to do. However, we do appreciate your content because it at least lets us know that you are listening. And that is at Two Guys and a Mic. Again, two being TWO, Guys and a Mic, 216, the numbers at gmail.com. Please contact us. Please listen. Sean, I love you, bro.
All right, love you too,
Good
bro.
week. Hope you,
You too.
pace with all the stuff you got to do this week. And we'll see y'all on Wednesday.
All right, man. Everybody have a good night.
Hey, the Browns are 4-1 for anybody who just missed that whole.
Who forgot, huh?
We 4-1. 4-1. Peace out.
Peace.
Peace out, America. Love y'all.